We go now to London and CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer.
Margaret, all over the world, the dilemma is the same. How and how fast to lift the lockdown. Certainly in countries where the infection rate is declining, but also in some where it's still climbing, like Russia. Moscow was doused in disinfectant as President Putin announced he is planning to ease restrictions, even though Russia now has the second fastest infection rate in the world after the U.S. Another epicenter is Brazil, where health workers and gravediggers know this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But in a small victory, Brazil's COVID belittling President Bolsonaro has finally started wearing a mask. Sort of. By contrast, in Europe, the number of COVID victims is going down and things are opening up. It's a calculated risk that life can return to normal, or normal-ish, without provoking a fresh coronavirus crisis. Even the largest church in the world, St. Peter's in the Vatican, got a final deep clean before its reopening tomorrow. The exception is the UK. A handful of protesters did demonstrate in London yesterday against the continuing lockdown, but they were outnumbered by the police and the rest of the country, which is opting for continued caution. On the other side of the world, after a parched 53 days, pubs reopened in northern Australia.
It's delicious, it's cold, and it's the first one.
And in Kiev, nurses cared for 51 tiny babies, all of them born in the pandemic to surrogates. No one wants borders to reopen more than the babies' future parents, who are desperate to get to Ukraine to pick them up. And in a reminder of how persistent this virus is, the city of Wuhan, where it originated and which almost managed to stamp it out, is now going to test all 11 million of its inhabitants. It's an attempt to find and isolate people who have no symptoms but are carriers before they can set off a second wave. Margaret?
Elizabeth Palmer in London.